In this episode, I will discuss the users and roles system in both WordPress and ProcessWire. In WordPress, you can easily create users and assign them to one of several default roles. Let's go ahead and create a user. We have the ability to choose the role that we want to assign this user to. WordPress comes with 5 different roles as seen here, and you can add other roles. However, you have to get into some coding to accomplish this. We'll assign this user to the editor role, and that's all set. Let's learn a little bit more about WordPress's roles. As you saw, there are 5 different roles, and they each have different permissions. And this documentation here in the WordPress Codex explains and compares the different roles with each other. An editor, which is designated by this column here, has the ability to moderate comments, edit pages, delete pages, and so forth. The other roles have fewer permissions, and this usually serves well for a site where certain permissions are needed. However, if you need to get more granular, this can become a little bit tricky and does require certain coding. There are also plugins for WordPress which make the process of editing roles and adding roles a lot easier. Here's one called User Role Editor. ProcessWire also has a users and roles system. You can access the users section by going to Access Users. Let's go ahead and add a new user. We can assign one or more roles to a user. So right now we have 2 roles, one called guest and one called super user, which is the equivalent of admin inside WordPress. So we'll assign this user to the guest role, but perhaps we want more of an editor type role like we saw in WordPress for this user. And to achieve that, we can create custom roles very easily in ProcessWire. So under the roles section, let's go ahead and create add new. Let's call this editor. And then we can assign similar permissions. So what we want to do is give them page editing capability. And this little symbol here indicates that there's more permissions that we can assign once we save this option. So let's publish this role. And as you can see, we have more options. So like the editor role, we perhaps want to allow this user to sort pages, choose a page template, and delete pages. We don't want this user to administer other users. So once we are satisfied with our changes, we can save this role, and then we can go back to that user and assign him to that role. And now when this user logs in, he will have certain permissions based on the role that he was assigned to.